Today we're going to start off with a new chapter, that is the Earth in the solar system. Most of us must have visited the Nehru Planetarium. The term planetarium means it talks about our solar system. It talks about the planets, the sky, the stars, the constellations, the planets, the asteroids and the meteoroids. In the same manner, we're going to talk about the Earth in our solar system. If you have a habit of watching the sky in the night, you might find the moon in one night. It might be a yellow in color. Then over a period of time, when you watch it 1 week down the line, you might see half moon. Then after a week, you might see there's no moon in the night. Why does this happen? Or what is it called rather? The full moon. Let's start off with that. The full moon comes only once in a month and it is known as Purnima, or the full moon night. You will see the full moon on this night. The moon most of the times is yellow in color on a Purnima. 15 days down the line or a fortnight later, the moon cannot be seen at all. This is called the new moon night or the Amavasya. The sun, the moon and all those objects that are shining in the sky are basically called celestial bodies. Now, we got to understand what are the properties or what are the characteristics of celestial bodies. When we try to look at the sky in the night, we see the stars. The stars, some of them are twinkling, some of them are bright, some of them are pretty dull, they are dim. Okay, but these all are stars. What are the characteristics of these celestial bodies? One, they're very big, they're hot. Few of them are big and hot. Then they are made of gases. And third, they have their own heat and light. And they emit it, they actually throw it out in large amounts. The sun is again a star because it has its own heat and light. We get sunlight out of it, right? Whenever there is sunlight, it is pretty warm. That is why the sun is a star. So, when the objects are away from it, we cannot feel their heat and light. And more importantly, probably if you're standing at a place, you might see a 6 feet tall person hardly 2 feet tall if you're standing at a distance. So that means objects look smaller from a distance. In the same manner, you are at a distance from the sky or probably from the stars, because of which these stars look smaller from a distance. While watching the night in the sky, you may see various patterns. These patterns are basically formed because of different groups of stars put together. This is what is known as the constellation. The next we're going to talk about a constellation is Ursa Major, or the Big Bear. This is the most easily recognizable constellation, and the most important out of it is the small bear. It is also known as the Saptarishi. The term Saptarishi can be further broken down. Sapta means 7 and Rishi means sages. It is basically a group of 7 stars that forms a part of the large Ursa Major constellation. In ancient times, people actually used to find out the way based on the North Star or the Pole Star. It is always stagnant, or it is always placed on the North Pole. It always indicates the north direction. That is why it is known as North Star or the Pole Star. Now, if we actually have to locate the Pole Star with the help of the Saptarishi or the Small Bear constellation, it is very easy. If you actually draw lines from one star to the another, if you join the pointer stars and they are extended further, it will always point to the pole star. Let's discuss about the sun. As I have already mentioned, in fact your textbook mentions sun is a star because it has its own heat and light. The sun is the center of the solar system. It is actually made of huge amount of extremely hot gases. And it also provides the pulling force that binds the solar system. And if we look at our day-to-day lives, it is the ultimate source of heat and light for the solar system. But that tremendous heat that we feel on a day-to-day lives is not felt by us because of the simple fact that we are pretty far away from it. The sun is about 150 million kilometers away from the earth. Do you think that would life be able to survive if there was no sunlight on earth? Plants actually make their food because of the sunlight. We do survive because of the sunlight. The crops that are grown because of the sunlight. So sun is the center of the solar system and also a very vital energy form for us. We already spoke about what is a star, or what are the celestial bodies, or they have the characteristics of having their own heat and light. They are called as stars. Now, but there will be other set of celestial bodies who might not have their own heat and light, but they borrow the light of other stars. What are they called? They're called planets. The term planetary is basically a Greek word which means wanderer. That is how the term planet is derived. Now, what does the term planet mean? Or probably what are the characteristics of a planet? A planet is a celestial body who does not have its own heat and light, but they are lit by the light of other stars. Like in the case of Earth, Earth is a planet. The Earth gets its heat and light from the sun. Sun is a star. So sun has its own heat and light, so it is a star. Earth does not have its own heat and light. It borrows the heat and light from the sun, so Earth is a planet. If we look at an Earth from a greater distance, say probably if we stand on the moon and look at the Earth, it will appear to be shining just the way the moon shines. The moon that we see in the sky is basically a satellite, the only satellite of the moon. It is a companion of the Earth that moves around it. Like our Earth, there are 8 other planets that get heat and light from the sun. Some of them, they also have their moons. Now, before we go any further, let's understand the term solar system. The sun, the 8 planets, the satellites, some celestial bodies, like that is the asteroids and the meteoroids, form the solar system. But the sun is the head of the family, or the head of the solar family. In the same manner, like if we have a small family, the father being the head of the family, in the same manner, the sun is the head of the family, who actually ensures the other celestial bodies, or the planets, they get their heat and light from the sun. When we come down to the planets are further subdivided into 8. There are 8 types of planets in our solar system. The first one is the Mercury, second Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. The easiest way to remember all these planets in the order of their distance, or to memorize them, your textbook talks about a small sentence. The sentence is, my very efficient mother just served us nuts. The first letter of each word, say M-Y, my. M stands for Mercury. Very. The first letter is V. V stands for Venus. E from efficient stands for Earth. Mother, the letter M stands for Mars. Just, letter J stands for Jupiter. S from served stands for Saturn. Us, U stands for Uranus. And nuts, N stands for Neptune. All these 8 planets from the solar system, they move around the sun. But when they move around the sun, they have a fixed path. And this path is elongated. And these elongated paths basically are called as the orbits. A circle probably, these elongated circles where they move around is actually known as the orbit. To the next, we're going to talk about the nearest planet. The nearest planet from this to the sun is the Mercury. It actually takes just 88 days to complete just one round around its orbit, or probably takes one total round around the sun. The second, Venus. Venus is also called as the Earth's twin because the size and the shape are very much similar to the Earth. Now, there is a ninth planet that was also discovered that is known as the Pluto, or also called as the dwarf planet. Let's talk about the third planet nearest to the sun is the Earth. And it is the fifth largest planet that you also have to remember. But there are certain characteristics to this Earth. This Earth is basically slightly flattened at the poles, and this is why it is called as the geoid, Geoid. It means Earth-like shape. What are the characteristics of the Earth? We live on Earth, so we know that the conditions on Earth favors life. It supports life. It's neither too hot, it's neither too cold. We have water, we have air, we have essential things for our survival. Earth has life-supporting gases like the oxygen for us, carbon dioxide for the plants. It is a unique planet in the solar system. From the outer space, the Earth appears blue because 2/3 of the Earth's surface has water, and that is why it is known as a blue planet. There will be two things that you might be asked during your exams: why the Earth is called as a unique planet, or why it's also known as the blue planet. So the answer for the unique planet is, we stay on Earth, it supports life, it has life-supporting gases like oxygen for human beings, plant animals, and carbon dioxide for plant kingdom. It has water, it has air, it supports life. It is not either too hot or neither too cold. It has conditions that actually favor life. It supports life. That is why Earth is known as a unique planet. Earth is also known as a blue planet because when we see Earth from the outer space, 2/3 of the Earth's surface is covered by water, and blue actually stands for water. That is why it is known as blue planet. Let's talk about the moon. This is the only one satellite of the Earth, or the Earth has the only one satellite that is known as the moon. The diameter of moon is 1/4 of the Earth. It appears so big because it is near to our planet and than other celestial bodies that we have in the solar system. It is about 3,84,400 kilometers away from us. The moon actually moves around the Earth in about 27 days. That is the time to complete one spin. As a result of it, we see only one side of the moon which is visible to the Earth. If we have to compare Earth and moon, the Earth has favorable conditions to support life. But on the contrary, the conditions on the moon are unfavorable to support life. It neither has air nor does it have water. It has mountains, plains, and depressions on the surface, because of which there are shadows on the moon's surface that we see from the Earth. The next thing that we're going to talk about the asteroids, which also are a part of the solar system. There are numerous tiny bodies which also move around the sun are called asteroids, but they're found between the orbits of the Mars and the Jupiters. Where are these asteroids from, or how are they formed? The scientists are of the point of view that the asteroids are actually parts of the planet which probably must have exploded many, many years back. Let's come down to meteoroids. Now we're going to talk about meteoroids, which also form a part of the solar system. What are meteoroids? These are small pieces of rocks which move around the sun, are called meteoroids. Sometimes these meteoroids come near the Earth and they tend to drop on it, they fall on it. But during this process, there is a friction with the air, and because of which they get heated up and they burn, which causes a flash of light. In our layman terms, it is known as a shooting star. Whenever the meteorite or a meteor actually falls without being completely burned, it falls on the Earth, it creates a hollow. There's a difference between the asteroid and the meteoroid. So we're going to understand that difference. Asteroids are numerous tiny bodies. They also move around the Earth, but they move between the orbits of Mars and the Jupiter. Meteoroids are small pieces of rocks. They just move around the sun. Let's understand the difference between asteroids and meteoroids. Both of them move around the sun, but asteroids are numerous tiny bodies, and they're found between the orbits of Mars and Jupiter. Meteoroids are basically small pieces of rocks, but they just move around the sun. That is the primary difference between an asteroid and a meteoroid. Meteoroid is also known as the shooting star that we see once in hundreds of years, or probably there might be a time frame before a shooting star may fall on the Earth. If you look at the sky on a clear night, you might see numerous stars twinkling. There is a whitish broad band, like a white glowing path that passes across the sky on a clear starry night. This is a cluster of millions of stars, which is known as the Milky Way. It is also known as the Akash Ganga. Akash means sky, Ganga is the river. It is a river from the sky that flows across the sky. Our solar system is basically a part of this galaxy. In ancient India, it was imagined that it was a river of light that was flowing across the sky. That is why it is named as the Akash Ganga. The galaxy itself is made up of huge billions of stars and clouds of dust and gases. There are millions of such galaxies that make the universe. So when we come to the term universe, you have to understand there is a galaxy is basically a huge system of billions of stars and clouds and gases. And millions of such galaxies actually make the universe. This is how we complete our chapter, the Earth in the Solar System. Now let's quickly revise the whole chapter. We spoke about the full moon night or the Purnima, which comes only once in a month. Then we spoke about the Amavasya or the new moon night, wherein 15 days later from the full moon night, you do not see the moon at all in the sky. Let's understand the celestial bodies. The sun, moon, and the objects that are shining in the night in the sky are celestial bodies. The characteristics of celestial bodies. Few of them are big and hot. They're made up of gases. they have their own heat and light, which they emit in larger amounts. These celestial bodies are called stars because stars have their own heat and light. They're made up of gases, and a few of them are big and hot. Sun is the head of the family. It is a star. Earth is a planet, and it derives its heat and light and energy from the sun. Coming down to the constellations, we already spoke about the Ursa Major or the Big Bear. That is one of the constellations, and the other constellation that we have already discussed about is the Small Bear or the Saptarishi. The term Saptarishi means seven. Sapta means seven, and Rishi means sages. It is a group of 7 stars which forms a part of the Ursa Major constellation. Now, if you look at the Saptarishi, if we actually extend those lines, okay, from the pointers, they can be extended further, and it points towards the North Star, the Pole Star. The North Star is also known as the Pole Star, and it is fixed at one single location, and it is actually on the North Pole. So in ancient times, whenever people used to travel, they used to always make those travel according to directions based on the pole star, because it is always poised on the North Pole. Then we have already discussed about the sun. It is the center of the solar system. It is made of huge gases which are extremely hot. It basically acts as a binding force for the solar system, and the sun is the head of the family of the solar system. The tremendous heat of the sun is not felt by us because we are away from the sun. We are approximately 150 million kilometers away from the sun. We have already discussed about the planet. The planet are those celestial bodies which do not have their own heat and light. But they derive that heat and light from other stars. But what is the difference? If they ask you in the exams, what is the difference between the stars and the planets? Stars basically have their own heat and light. And planets, they derive their heat and light from other celestial bodies or from other stars. The term planet, where is it derived from? It is derived from a Greek word called planetai, that means wanderers, just because they wander around their existing solar system, or probably the sun. The solar system, basically, we have already discussed about, comprises of the sun, the 8 planets, the satellites, and other celestial bodies. These celestial bodies also have asteroids and meteoroids, and sun is the head of the family. The term asteroid we have already discussed about is basically tiny rock particles that move around in the orbits of Mars and the Jupiters. And meteoroids are basically rock pieces or rock fragments that are moving around the sun, along the orbit of the sun. And when these rock pieces actually come down towards the earth, they are actually burnt because of the friction of the air. They get heated up and they are burnt, and because of which they actually come down to the earth, they fall on the earth, they make a hollow, and this is how we get our shooting star. Coming down to the planets, we have already discussed the 8 planets in our solar system. The first one is the Mercury, second Venus, third Earth, fourth Mars, fifth Jupiter, 6th Saturn, 7th Uranus, and the 8th one is the Neptune. The easier way to remember them is my very efficient mother just served us nuts. And you can remember all the 8 planets. These 8 planets basically, they revolve in the solar system around the earth in a fixed path. This fixed path is basically elongated. This elongated path, those fixed path, is known as the orbits. Now they might ask you a question, which is the nearest planet to the sun? Is the Mercury, which is the Earth's twin planet, so the answer is Venus, because the shape and the size of Venus is very much similar. Which planet is also known as the dwarf planet? That is the 9th planet that is recently discovered by the scientists, that is the Pluto. let us discuss Earth. The Earth's only companion is the moon, that is the satellite. Now, the Earth is the third nearest planet to the Sun, and it is the fifth largest planet. It is basically slightly flattened at the poles, because of which it is called as a geoid. Geoid basically means like an Earth-like shape. What we have already discussed, Earth actually supports life. It is neither too hot, it is neither too cold. It has water, air that is essential for our survival. It has carbon dioxide for plants, oxygen for human beings and the animal life. It also actually supports cultivation. That's how we grow our crops. That's how we get our food. It is a very unique planet in the solar system. It is covered with the surface of the Earth has 2/3 of water. It consists of that amount of water. That is why it is also known as the blue planet. Let's come down to the moon. That is the only one satellite that the Earth has. A satellite in layman's term can be understood as a companion of any planet. The moon has a diameter which is just 1/4 of the Earth, and it appears so big because it is just near to a planet than any other celestial bodies. It is just 3,84,400 kilometers away from us. The moon moves around the Earth in about 27 days, and that is the time that actually the moon takes to complete one spin, because of which we just see one side of the moon that is visible to the Earth on the Earth. If we have to compare Earth and moon, the Earth has favorable conditions to support life, but on the contrary, moon has the conditions on it are unfavorable to support life. Earth has air and water, but moon does not have water, neither air. The moon has mountains, plains, and depressions on its surface, because of which we see the shadows on the moon's surface. We have already discussed the asteroids and the meteoroids, but still we just go ahead with it one more time. Those are numerous tiny bodies moving around the sun, and specifically in the orbits of Mars and Jupiter are asteroids. Meteoroids, pieces of rocks moving around the sun. When they come down and fall on the Earth, they actually make a hollow. This is also known as a shooting star. Then the last thing that we discussed about is the Milky Way, or the Akash Ganga. This is the whitish broad band. It is basically like a white glowing path across the sky on a clear starry night. It is a cluster of millions of stars. That is why it is known as the Milky Way or the Akash Ganga. The term Akash Ganga basically means, Akash means sky, and Ganga is basically a river of light flowing across the sky. That is why it was named as the Akash Ganga. What does the term galaxy mean? A galaxy is a huge system of billions of stars, clouds of dust and gases. Now, what is the universe? There are millions of such galaxies that make the universe. Let's quickly go ahead and revise some questions, or go through some questions that your textbook talks about. The first question that we're going to talk about is, how does a planet differ from a star? As I've already explained, star has its own heat and light, but there are planets, they do not have their own heat and light. They derive it from other stars. Like, for an instance, Sun is a star, Earth is a planet. Earth derives its heat and light from the Sun, and that is why Sun is a star and Earth is a planet. The next question your textbook talks about is, what is meant by the solar system? The Sun, the 8 planets, the satellites, some celestial bodies like the asteroid and the meteoroids, they actually form the solar system. The next question that we're going to discuss is, name all the planets according to their distance from the Sun. The easiest way to remember them is, my very efficient mother just served us nuts. Take the first letter from each word. It stands from each for each planet. M from my stands for Mercury. V from very stands for Venus. E from efficient stands for Earth. M from mother stands for Mars. J from just stands for Jupiter. S from served stands for Saturn. U from us stands for Uranus. And N from nuts stands for Neptune. That is how you remember all the planets according to their distance from the sun. The next question that your textbook asks for is, why is the Earth called a unique planet? I've already explained this before, but I will still go ahead and explain it one more time for you. The reason why Earth is called as a unique planet is because it has conditions that are favorable to support life. It is neither too hot, neither it is too cold. It has air, it has water. It has life-supporting gases like oxygen for human beings and animals, and carbon dioxide for plant life. That is why it is called as a unique planet in the solar system. The second last question that we're going to discuss about is, why do we see only one side of the moon always? The moon is a satellite of the Earth. The moon moves around the sun in about 27 days. That is the time it takes to complete one spin, because of which we just see one side of the moon that is visible to us on the Earth. The last question that we're going to discuss is, what is the universe? As I explained earlier, a galaxy is a huge system of billions of stars, clouds of dust and gases. Such millions of galaxies put together actually form a universe. This is how we complete our chapter, the Earth in our solar system. In this chapter, we spoke about our Earth. We spoke about our solar system, that is the sun, the moon, the Earth, the planets, meteoroids, and the asteroids. Everything put together actually forms our solar system.